am what I am.
You may not quote those wife-slandering hypocrites on this podcast.
But I took a trip to the year 3000, Codie. It's the only other song of theirs I can remember.
I don't know anything about them except that Joe Jonas is a bitch.
I went to one of their houses once. Picked up his bassist. It might have been Joe. I don't remember who. Well, I picked up one of the Jonas's bassists after they went, like, their solo ways. It's probably Joe.
Ah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Living in LA is a weird experience.
Cause, like, yeah, I was a Lyft driver for a couple years. Yeah, I picked up the, like, executive producer of the Boondocks and Joe Jonas's bassist and, like, a bunch of other random people who've, like, done things in the industry, and that's just a normal thing and doesn't feel out of the ordinary at all. And then we go back home east and our friends are like, you have such interesting lives.
And we're just like, not really, but thanks.
Like, no. Although, when we were told that at a wedding by my ex-girlfriend, who I haven't talked to in, like, 15 years, she's doing great. That was a wonderful night.
It was a delight.
She said we have interesting lives. I do have an interesting wife. She said we have interesting lives, and I didn't believe her until, like, 2 days later. It's 1 a.m. We're in the basement of the Magic Castle with the touring cast and crew of a Broadway show, while a former member of a different touring Broadway show is doing cigar box juggling. You know what? Okay, yeah, sometimes we live interesting lives.
Do we live interesting lives, or are we in the proximity of interesting things happening?
Is there really a difference?
No, I suppose not.
Like, we just happen to know people who went on to do cool things and got us in cool places at cool times.
It's true.
I work in a fucking office. Like, I don't have an interesting life. Except for, that thing I just said that actually fucking happened. I guess not all of our East Coast friends have a podcast like Soon to Be a Major Motion Podcast. The podcast where we watch movies that are based on books and read books that are turned into movies. I am Billy Beck.
I am Codie Beck. Say podcast one more time.
Pod fucking cast. I will say podcast as many times as I please.
Just gonna sandbag your joke. I'm just not gonna say anything.
So how you been?
I've been fine. Nothing interesting happened. Yes, sir?
Toby.
Our son is singing the song of his people in the bathroom.
He never talks, and he is just fully vocalizing in the bathroom.
He learned from his sister it's the best place for acoustics. What you want, bud?
So your week?
My week is good. Nothing happened. Don't have anything to talk about, complain about. How about you? I know you had a rough today, at least.
Oh, when I woke up this morning, ready to go to work at 6:30 in the goddamn morning. Get my backpack on, got my lunch in hand, and I look at the nice flat tire in my automobile. Oh, take the bus. Get an Uber. I live 30 miles away from my job. That is not affordable or makes sense time-wise. So I had to get that repaired. Luckily, it was a cheap, easy repair. Tire got fixed, got to work, not on time, but I worked from home for like an hour. It's fine. Everything's fine. It would have been more fine if I wasn't doing the job of 2 people right now, because after some downsizing, one department went from 2 people to 1 people, and 1 people is on vacation right now. So guess who's doing the job of 2 people, which used to be the job of 3 people? It is 1 people. It is me.
Luckily, you can handle it.
Yeah, because I'm good at my fucking job.
And apparently other people's.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was talking to somebody at work today, and actually the girl who replaced me in my previous position, and I apologized for what her job is, and admitted that it's my fault because I got bored and kept adding tasks to it.
Yeah. I've learned in my old age to not do as much as I'm capable of doing at work, because then I will do that all the time. But when it's a situation like this, and I just no complain, don't even ask, just start doing other people's work that needs to get done. When Ray's time comes around, Ray's gets bigger.
Is it because we're both autistic and we don't understand that give 100% means give whatever you're capable of giving without burning yourself out?
Yeah, if you don't know this, because I didn't know this until adulthood, when someone says give 100%, they don't mean it literally. They mean just try hard. Just do your best that you can on that day. Don't do your best possible every day. That gets you something called burnout. And then you have an emotional breakdown while trying to do yoga in which you can no longer move or speak for 20 minutes.
What?
Children, don't burn yourselves out.
What? What are you talking about? That didn't happen.
It's okay to take a rest day. Your mom was lying to you when she said, if you're too sick to go to school, you're too sick to watch TV. There are 2 levels of sickness there. TV, you don't have to focus as much. It's fine. Take a sick day. Anyway, this public service announcement brought to you by Grillo's Pickles. That's right. We have a sponsorship with Grillo's Pickles. We don't have a sponsorship with Grillo's Pickles.
Now I want a pickle, though.
No, you just had pizza and ice cream.
I want a pickle. I want a pickle drop. Your ice just dropped in the sink.
It's fine. Wait, my ice?
Yeah, didn't you? Oh no, your ice is in your drink. You didn't make a shaky drink today.
No, I didn't make a shaky drink. I made a strong, not shaky drink.
Which is why we are just avoiding talking about this, aren't we?
I had a segue, and I haven't gotten to the segue yet.
Oh, okay.
Because my tire isn't the only thing I've been doing this week. I've also been enjoying the Tour de France. Been watching it since I was a kid. It's the dumbest... No, it's not the dumbest sport. It's not baseball. But it is such a fascinating sport that is also 6 hours long and boring. I fucking love it. I've also been enjoying the women's Tour de France, or as commentary is forced to refer to it, Tour de France Femme avec Zwift. Because you got to get that sponsor name in there.
God.
Yeah, totally enjoying it. Really enjoy... One of my favorite things about watching the tour is when they travel through the French countryside. And you see those cornfields, or not cornfields, what am I saying? You see those, like, farmlands, and the mountains, and the little villages. And then the last day of the tour, they ride into Paris, and you see all that beautiful architecture. And, like, classic and, like, old buildings, and all this history, you know? And it got me thinking, what if we covered a film that takes place in historical France? What if we talk about Alexandre Dumas' The Three Musketeers, and one of its film adaptations?
And I foolishly agreed to this because I did not realize that Alexandre Dumas has never met a sentence he couldn't make into 7.
Yeah, that's a mighty thick tome you have there, Codie.
628 pages, not including his introduction, which is technically part of the text.
And you read all of those pages, huh?
I did. Everyone at work was commenting on how thick the book was, and I complained every time someone asked. I had the exact conversation that follows every day for the last 2 weeks. Wow, that's a thick book. Yeah, I'm struggling through it. Well, if you're struggling, why are you reading it? Why do you have to? My husband and I have a podcast, and he watches the movie, and I read the book, and I got the short straw this week.
Listen, I also edit the podcast.
You do also edit the podcast.
So when you read children's books, and then I watch the 2.5-hour adaptations of those children's books, and then edit our 2-hour podcast on it, realize.
Fair enough. But also, we subjected one another to Ready Player One, so.
Yeah, we didn't subject each other to that. Amy subjected us to that. I have not forgotten.
We appreciate the suggestion.
Bitch. Love you. Can't wait for season to start up so I can see you guys every week again.
So.
Even though we see them, we can, like, see at them at Angel City.
So, The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. Which adaptation did you watch, William? Because this book has been adapted a million times.
Like 75 times, conservatively. I decided, since we just did Congo, and it's an era of film I'm very nostalgic towards, probably not for the right reasons, we went with the 1993 Walt Disney adaptation of The Three Musketeers, which is supposedly based on that novel. And hey, guess what? The whole point of this podcast is to discover whether or not that's true. So let's get it rolling. Codie, get over here. We're going to watch a trailer.
You're under arrest.
5 of them, 3 of us. Hardly seem fair.
Maybe we should give him a chance to surrender.
Excuse me, but there's 4 of us.
Athos, Porthos, and Aramis.
Hello.
Nice to meet you again.
Pleasure.
Now, we're prepared to resist you. Walt Disney Pictures presents the story of the greatest heroes who ever lived.
Long live the Musketeers!
It was a time when danger was irresistible.
Did I miss anyone?
King's
king's life is in danger. We have work to do.
1,000 gold pieces on each of their heads, dead or alive.
I prefer
Kill him!
dead.
Adventure was everywhere.
I hope we're not interrupting.
Kill those musketeers.
Champagne? We're in the middle of a cave, Porthos.
And friendship
You're right. Nothing red.
was the greatest weapon of all.
All for one. More for me.
Charlie Sheen,
We must pray for our sins. Second thought, God's often busy.
Kiefer Sutherland,
Save the king!
Chris O'Donnell,
I want a mission for the king.
I've heard that before.
Oliver Platt,
That's it. Next time you drive.
Tim Curry,
Snap of my fingers, and you could be back on the block where I found you.
and Rebecca De Mornay.
And with a flick of my wrist, I could change your religion.
The Three Musketeers.
D'Artagnan is a brash, arrogant young man who dreams of simping for the boy king. He moves to Paris, meets the titular three other stands, and together they foil an evil plot where a priest tries to secretly broker peace with England. Hooray, monarchy!
Oh boy.
You're giving me a look, Cody. You're giving me a look as if to say I watched the wrong movie.
So this was written in the late 1600s, early 1700s. Mm-hmm. It takes place historically between 1628 or 1625 and 1628. That is the era in which it is set. A significant portion of the book takes place at the Siege of La Rochelle, which is, I think, a real, actual siege
Historical
that happened.
event, yes.
Yes. And it is very much a war with England that was enacted because of the Cardinal and the King. It's technically not with England per se, it's with other Frenchmen that have sympathies to England. It's a little fuzzy. I know Mark is screaming right now. Because I am
He's gonna Kool-Aid man his way into this podcast.
I am grossly oversimplifying. Is there...
Grossly oversimplifying? I think that was the tagline of this movie.
So, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Is there a whole intrigue where there's some diamond studs that the Queen has to get back from her boy toy, the Duke of Buckingham?
What?
You know, just the first, 100 to 300 pages of the book.
So, okay. So you mentioned two characters there.
Yes.
I recognize the Queen and the Duke of Buckingham. Mm-hmm. Their roles in the movie. The Duke of Buckingham is supposed to receive a peace treaty with France that's signed by the Cardinal, and then when he signs it, and then the Cardinal kills the King, then the Cardinal becomes king, and peace with England is his, gift to the people or something. And the Queen, she's in, 3 scenes. She mentions that she was nervous because she was in an arranged marriage, but then the first time she saw King Louis, she fell in love with him, and she loves him. And then she gets sexually assaulted by Tim Curry after leaving a bath. And then she's afraid while Tim Curry tries to kill her and her husband at his birthday party.
So the sexual assault is actually accurate,
Okay.
probably. It doesn't happen in the book. There is an alluded... The Cardinal hates the Queen in the book. And his whole plan is he wants to make her life a living hell because she doesn't want to sleep with him.
So even through to the end, he's giving his evil plan and saying, I'm going to kill the king. And then you will sit at my side. And she's like, I would rather die. And he's like, that can be arranged.
The Queen and the King fucking hate one another. Or rather, the King hates her. For reasons that are not totally clear. Except for the fact that I think it implies that he's not...
He's trying to butterfly affect their lives better? Wow, you have to have just seen that movie to get that joke. Carry on.
It's not totally clear. It's kind of just like he enjoys being a dick to her. And he and the Cardinal, like, don't like each other, but the king is also kind of afraid of the Cardinal.
Okay, that element is there.
Yeah, it's basically like, so Louis XIII is powerful, but he recognizes that he's not as smart as the Cardinal, so he just kind of tries to be better than him at every turn, but the real game is between the Cardinal and the Queen, in that the Queen knows why the Cardinal is being a dick to her, but she has no way to defend herself because she's, a lady in France in the 1600s.
Are you telling me that 17th century women didn't have rights, Cody? I don't believe you.
I'm saying that the rights and abilities they did have access to were much more limited than a modern woman would have, even supposedly powerful ones.
Surely the Queen of France in 1626 could have gotten her own credit card without her husband's permission, right? What's that? Not until the 1980s that was possible? That's fucked up! Anyway.
The other thing is, I don't know what name they would have given her in the novel, or in the movie, but she's referred to as My Lady. Her title is the Comtesse de Winter.
Oh, Milady de Winter.
Yes, Milady de Winter.
She's in the movie.
I kept making Rebecca jokes in my head to myself.
Why?
Because she's Rebecca's predecessor, clearly.
Oh, yeah, her name was de Winter. I was like, what was the de Winter thing?
I low-key wonder if that was a joke that Daphne du Maurier put for herself.
Almost certainly.
Because that is an English... De Winter is an English man.
Ah, yeah.
So I wonder if that's a reference. But anyway, she's kind of the actual villain. Like, the feud is really between her and D'Artagnan.
Go on.
So I do have to add, is the Comte de Rochefort in the movie?
Yeah. Oliver Platt calls him a stinky cheese at one point.
That's hilarious.
You're mad because Oliver Platt is fucking amazing in this movie. But go on.
So he shows up and D'Artagnan immediately tries to fight him when D'Artagnan is on his way to Paris and gets the shit kicked out of him. And this is where he uses the magic potion that he never uses again, even though people are injured multiple times.
The what?
He has a special poultice from his mother that will heal any wound short of death.
Like Lucy Pevensey in The Chronicles of Narnia?
Kind of, except it actually takes time to work, but she guarantees that you will not die.
And he never uses it again.
He uses it on himself, and he uses it on Aramis. Because Aramis was stabbed in the shoulder right before they met.
Fascinating.
Never used again in the course of the novel.
Or in the film.
So he keeps wanting to follow the Count. And of course, because of the relationship between My Lady and the Cardinal and the Count, they're usually found in...
Wait, you said Rochefort's a count?
Comte, Count, yes.
Go on.
So he is in the service of the Cardinal, and because he's basically a messenger or a go-between or a lackey of the Count, he is kind of always in the area where My Lady is. And so D'Artagnan keeps running into him and wanting to fight him to revenge himself, but he can't. Until the very end of the novel, where after they have brutally executed My Lady and revealed this crime to the Cardinal pardons him and says, y'all need to be friends. And then Rochefort and D'Artagnan have 3 fights over the course of years. And D'Artagnan is like, if we have a 4th fight, I'm gonna kill you. And Rochefort is like, no, you're not. I'd totally kill you. But then they're besties. That's the resolution of Rochefort. My Lady is the villain of this.
Okay, you named a few characters there.
Yes.
That I recognize from the movie.
Yes.
So, Rochefort is not a count. He's a captain. He's the captain of the Cardinal's guards.
I think he's called the Comte de Rochefort, but he might just be captain. Let me double check that.
Okay,
actually.
While you're checking that, he's the captain of the guards. He only has one eye because he turned on the Musketeers and sold out D'Artagnan's father, and D'Artagnan's father took his eye.
Okay.
So D'Artagnan doesn't meet him till he gets arrested at one point and almost executed. And then they have a big climactic fight in the last scene. And I'm pretty sure he kills Rochefort. I'm pretty sure D'Artagnan kills Rochefort.
Yeah, that's kind of where
with the help of his lady girl, with what's her name, Constance?
Oh, does Constance survive?
What?
She gets poisoned.
They poisoned my Julie Delpy?
They poisoned your Julie Delpy.
No, I love Julie Delpy. No, she hands him his sword so he can stab Rochefort and then help the Musketeers save the king. The other character you mentioned, Milady.
Yes.
So, remember when I mentioned before the secret treaty to the dude in England? Mm-hmm. So Cardinal Tim Curry gives that to her to go up to Calais to get on a ship and take the treaty out. So they rendezvous, the Musketeers and D'Artagnan rendezvous in Calais to prevent her from doing that, and they get the treaty. And it turns out that she's the Countess because the Count was actually Athos, and they were like in love and together, and then she was actually sentenced to be put to death because she had like a brand of a fleur-de-lis, and he was so distraught that he dumped her and gave up all of his wealth and became a musketeer.
Oh, he didn't try to kill her when he found out?
No, he gave her to the authorities.
Oh no, he straight up hung her and thought he killed her.
Oh no, he handed her to the authorities, and then the Cardinal, because Penis, decided not to, and she became a secret spy. So they are reunited, and they're both surprised the other survives, and then she's to be executed for a completely unrelated crime, and he stops the executioner from doing it, and she's like, okay, here's the Cardinal's plan. He's going to kill the king at the king's birthday party on Friday, and then she yeets herself off a cliff.
So, one of the most interesting scenes is the last, third to quarter of this book. Some of it, a significant portion of it, takes place from her point of view. She's you're more or less third-person limited narration viewing her actions. Mm-hmm. And it's the best part of the book because she's taking advantage of the fact that the Protestants and the Catholics are fighting in France and pretends to be Protestant to get a guard on her side. And so he helps her escape her captivity because D'Artagnan successfully gets her basically incarcerated by her brother-in-law in England when she goes there with the express order of killing the Duke of Buckingham, or finding someone to do it for her. And she basically whips this guy up into a puritanical fanaticism so that he goes and commits the assassination for her. And then she fucks off back to France, where she hides in the convent that they have hidden Constance in, tricks Constance into being her bestie, and then when the Musketeers arrive, she poisons Constance and fucks off while Constance is dying. And then they finally catch her, and it's D'Artagnan, Aramis, Porthos, Athos, and a secret guy that no one seems to know who he is.
Steve!
Except for Athos. And then they have a trial for her where they reveal all of the crimes that they're aware of, which her crimes are, of course, killing Constance, causing the death of the Duke of Buckingham, getting the guy who killed the Duke of Buckingham killed, all the various other shit she did to the Cardinal, and lying to Athos when they were married, because they were married, and when he killed her, he basically gave up everything. When he thought he killed her, he basically faked his own death and fucked off to the Musketeers. And then this mysterious guy steps forward, and it turns out he is the brother of the priest she seduced when she was a nun, and caused them to steal a bunch of shit from the church, which is where her brand came from, and she left the brother to die and fucked off and ended up joining the Cardinal.
She seems nice.
Her execution scene is one of the, most horrifying things I've ever read. Because it's literally, her and these 10 men. Oh, it's also the Lord de Winter, because he's caught up to them at that point. And so it's these 10 men who basically have this trial against her. And the guy, she's like, it's considered an assassination. And then the original guy's like, no, actually, I'm an executioner, so it's not. I'm a legal executioner. This is not an assassination. And so they take her in a boat and cross the river, and he beheads her and then dumps her corpse in the river with all of them as witnesses. It's incredible. It's easily the best part of the book. And it's it is the climax. Literally her execution Like, immediately after that is the epilogue. Like, nobody gives a shit anymore. That is the heart of the book.
So the Cardinal's not trying to kill the king?
No. The Cardinal's trying to kill the Duke of Buckingham because the Duke of Buckingham successfully has a relationship with the Queen. In that it's like that weird...
She's cheating on Louis?
Yes. But, like, it's a courtly romance, so, like, they've held hands, and, like, he kissed her hand once.
Oh, it's very, Daniel Day-Lewis Scorsese. What was that called?
Oh, God.
It was 6 episodes ago. How have we already forgotten?
I don't remember. Oh, God.
Generic title. A Walk to Remember. Wait.
Yeah, it's very courtly love.
Yeah.
Where they have seen each
Age
other.
of Innocence. Oh, I knew I'd get there eventually.
Yes, Age of Innocence. They saw each other. There's a whole protestation at the beginning where he's like, I've seen you 3 times in 6 years, and we've had as many conversations. It's like, sir, get a hobby.
As a man who is attracted to women, I still look fondly back on relationships that were like 1 or 2 emails with the opposite sex.
I'm not gonna say it.
Don't say it. Okay, so you gave me a look earlier. The D'Artagnan's dad thing?
Yeah, his dad, not a character at all. Like, his dad gives him money and a shitty horse.
His dad's alive?
Yeah! His dad turns him out because he's like, go seek your fortune and we're too poor to feed you.
Does the book open with him fighting a man named Gerard because he fucked Gerard's sister and then Gerard chases him around the whole rest of the book?
No.
He
does not fuck once until he sexually assaults every female in this novel.
I was gonna say, like, he can in the movie because it's Disney, but he fucks. There's a whole scene where the rest of them teach him the art of wenching.
So he doesn't sexually assault the Countess de Winter by pretending to be somebody else?
No, he's actually just, like, brutally honest with her to the point where she realizes he's there for her and she tries to stab him while seducing him.
So he has a thing for Constance, and of course Constance immediately gets kidnapped because she's, like, handmaid to the Queen. And then he starts a relationship with Madame de Winter, my lady, because he's trying to get information on Constance, but really he's just actually falling in love with my lady. And her serving girl, Kitty, is warning him like, yo, this bitch fucking hates you. And he doesn't believe her until she hides him in the closet and he hears her whole plan where she's bitching about how much she hates him and hopes he dies and has plans to kill him herself. And then he pretends to be the person she actually loves and goes and sleeps with her. And the reason that he's able to do that is because she doesn't have the lights on, because then they would be able to see the brand on her shoulder. So
he does see the brand when she tries to seduce him.
He sees the brand after he's already slept with her.
Well, I guess we don't see what happens before he wakes up.
Yeah. And in that whole process, at some point, he takes advantage of the fact that Kitty loves him.
Who?
The servant girl to my lady. And he sexually assaults her. Basically to keep her quiet.
I mean, it was the 17th century. What are you going to do? Question.
Yeah.
And this just occurred to me. Is her name being Milady, M-I-L-A-D-Y, is that supposed to be a joke? Because the French always hear her referred to as my lady, and they just think that's her name?
No, it's because none of the male characters use her name because they're trying not to identify her. Because usually when she's being talked to by someone, it's the Cardinal or Rochefort, and they're trying not to reveal who she is. So they just call her my lady.
Okay. I thought I discovered something there, but no.
I mean, it could be a joke for the movie.
No, it was not. I just thought of it, like...
Yeah.
That's such an interesting name to name something, but this was written in French.
Yeah.
But so it is related to the phrase my lady.
Yes. Yeah, they recognize, because she is a lady by rank.
I guess it just wasn't addressed in the movie satisfactorily.
Yes.
So does Porthos pretend to be a pirate, like, and he got his sash from the Queen of America?
No.
So he doesn't have bolos in medieval France because he was once a pirate?
No. So...
He doesn't get recognized by the guys on the ship at Calais? Oh, no, that's not even in the fucking novel, is it?
No.
Yeah.
No, it kind of sounds like it smashes a bunch of different things together.
Yeah. It almost seems like this movie, like, is the LaCroix of movies.
They opened up the cover and just wafted.
Yeah, like, They put the film reel like next to the novel on the shelf for 20 minutes and then just threw it in theaters and hoped that something stuck.
So, okay. We've said their names a bunch. We've got Athos, Porthos, and Aramis.
Yes.
And D'Artagnan.
Yeah.
D'Artagnan is obviously the young, rash one who's trying to join the Musketeers.
Yeah.
You've got Porthos, who is the dumb one, who's also super vain.
I mean, yeah, he's the goofy funny one. Because there's two funny ones in the movie. He's the goofy funny one where, like, big, bold, brash lies. Also a bit of a flirt. But, like, he's, like, an extroverted flirt.
He is...
Like, the wenching scene, he just kisses a lady and dry humps her on the fucking bar. This was a Disney movie.
So, our introduction to Dear Aramis, or Dear Porthos, is that D'Artagnan runs into him and reveals that only the front of his vest has gold inlaid in it. The back is blank. And then makes fun of him for it. And so they threaten to duel one another. And then in a comedy... This is immediately after he's run into Aramis.
Yep.
Who has been stabbed recently in a duel, and he runs into his injured arm and hurts him. And Aramis is the saintly one. Aramis is the one who is, I'm gonna join the church. I'm gonna do it. I just became a musketeer for a couple of seasons.
Okay, that is what they do with Aramis as well.
Okay.
He's the churchy one.
But he has a lady love who is, the longer it goes between letters from her, the more committed he is to the church. And then he ends up, like, every time he gets a letter from her, he's just like, fuck it, I'm in the world again.
No. He doesn't... Because the same thing happens in this where D'Artagnan gets in duels with the Three Musketeers and all at different times and then finds out that they're all together. You know,
because they're each other's seconds.
Yeah, but it's not for the same reason. Like, I think he's just rude to Athos at the Musketeer Museum. Porthos, he spills something on when he's running from the gingerfuck. And Aramis is getting out of Dodge when he's tutoring a lady with wonderful tits. And he's reading the Bible, and it's not even a sexy passage. And she just, like, on him. And she's like, sorry, you just get me so hot and bothered with your sexy words. And he's like, there is a time for matters of the flesh. And then her husband comes home. So he, like, runs away and does, like, a whole action scene to get away and lands on D'Artagnan. And D'Artagnan is mad at him for that, even though he apologizes. And he's like, fine, a duel, at two. So
Athos.
A little different.
Athos is...
More like pathos, am I right?
Yeah! He's the serious one, and he's also my favorite. And I think I would enjoy the book more if it was from his point of view.
He's definitely the Aragorn of the crew.
Absolutely. He's the only one with two brain cells to rub together.
Lord of the Rings stole it. They're at a bar and everyone's having a good time, and then they look, and there's Athos in the corner drinking alone. What's his deal, But then you find out what his deal is immediately.
Oh yeah, it's like a thing. D'Artagnan finds out it's like a midpoint reveal that he finds out that he was married, or he finds out that he was married and he killed his wife because his wife was an adulterer and a criminal. And then it gets revealed later that, oh shit, his wife is alive, and it's the fucking villain of the book.
Yeah. He thinks he killed his wife, but not in the same way. And he feels guilt towards that.
Yeah. He's the dark, brooding person that you have to, like, open up and find his secrets.
Yeah. So the characters seem like they're about the same kind of...
I was gonna say, yeah, like they...
Not tropes, but...
They're
tropified for the Disney, for sure.
Yeah. Well, 1600s... This is fucking where the tropes come from.
So, it definitely seems like things are very different in this book than Disney portrayed them in the year of our Lord, 1993.
Just 400 years later.
Give or take. 300.
300. Yeah.
We can math.
Technically, it's 400 years from the plot.
Yeah, now. Oh, that's why we're doing it right now. Happy 400-year anniversary plot of the start of the Three Musketeers. But I think we can find some reasoning as to why the film version is so different by looking at its production.
Okay.
And we joked earlier that there's 75 fucking adaptations of this, and that might not even be a joke. But in the year 1992, 3 production companies started work on their own versions of the Three Musketeers.
Of course.
And those production companies were Disney, Columbia, and TriStar.
Aren't those all Disney labels?
Columbia's under Sony now, right?
Yes, I think so.
I think Columbia's under Sony.
Because I thought
I think TriStar folded into Disney at some point, or
because I was
Paramount.
thinking TriStar was the one that they would put out their adult movies. That
No, you're thinking of Touchstone Pictures.
I am thinking of Touchstone.
You are thinking,
right?
I think TriStar got absorbed by one of the bigger studios since. I don't know off the top of my head, and don't care enough to research it. Let us know in the comments if you're listening on YouTube. So Disney, Columbia, and TriStar, all in 1992, started their production, and a man named David Lowery, whose previous works include Star Trek V, and would later write Tom and Huck. He was working on a script after being hired by Columbia, and he sold that script to Disney. Disney bought his script while he was under contract to write this movie for Columbia.
Oh, I feel like that's a breach of contract there, my guy.
Immediate lawsuit. They settled out of court because Disney paid Columbia enough money to make them realize, we don't have to make the movie now. We made as much as we were hoping to make. Wipe our hands clean of this. Columbia no longer was in the runnings to make this picture. TriStar, however, continued with their production. And they wanted, because they knew Disney was going to Disney this shit, they wanted to make a more adult, more accurate to the novel version. So they were looking at actors like Kiefer Sutherland and Oliver Platt to be in their version of the picture.
You know, I feel like there's a problem with that.
Is it that they are in the Disney one?
Yes! Having seen the trailer!
So the TriStar one was also never produced. But Disney, they Disney'd it. Like I mentioned earlier that this is an era of film I'm very nostalgic for. And because like anyone born in the late 80s, these were the movies I was allowed to watch. Because in my conservative Christian household, Disney movies were safe. We'll talk about a first later that Disney did in this picture. Disney movies were safe. The Disney Renaissance was happening, plus our parents grew up on things like
Davy
Crockett. I remember watching the original Freaky Friday with Jodie Foster on VHS at my grandmother's house.
I thought you were going to say the original Parent Trap.
That one too. Freaky Friday was the one that we had. I still can picture the beginning of that movie before I would get bored and go do other things. But Herbie, like those old 60s live action Disney stuff, Witch Mountain, like the original one. I grew up on that shit. So it was safe. And Disney needed to keep that reputation. And this is me theorizing here, but that's why they took a lot of the gorier sexual elements out and they just cleaned it up. And they were like, we're going to tell, because no one has the rights to this. It's in the public domain, future episode of The Treatment. We can Disneyfy this and share this classic story with a new generation in our way. And I think they felt more, and again, speculation, I think they felt more entitled to do that when they started production, knowing Columbia and TriStar were out there going to take different angles. And this isn't something unheard of. We've seen this like in recent years where there will be
2 Pinocchios.
There's 2 Pinocchios in one year. I think a few years back there were like 2 King Arthurs within a year of each other. Like, this is something that happens.
Would you believe me if I said there's actually a historical precedent for removing the sexuality? When the novel was first translated into English, the translator cleaned up a lot of the sexual innuendo, making it basically unreadable.
Wow.
Because that's the subtext between My Lady and D'Artagnan, and you remove that, and there's no fucking reason for any of the plot to happen.
I greatly appreciate that Disney had the cojones to keep some of the sexuality in the movie. Because when D'Artagnan wakes up at Milady's in Calais, the shot is overhead, and she's sitting bedside, camera side. So the shot is like on a diagonal on the screen. The top left is D'Artagnan waking up, and the bottom right is just her tits. Open top, clavage. With the scene with Aramis when he's reading scripture and she gets all horned up. She is not fitting into her bodice. Like, things are spilling out. It's pretty great. I enjoy it. I enjoy the movies. But, yeah, like, still, Disney, that was the point I was making, right? Disney cleaned it up.
Yes.
I guess they just kind of stuck with their guns when it came out, or stuck with their swords, rather, when it came out, and kept it clean. And Disney, it's very Disney. Very live-action Disney.
Do you think it was faithful to the intent? Even though they removed some of the quote-unquote dirtier parts?
I was going to say, that's kind of where I want to get... Let's get a little serious, kids. This is something I wanted to talk about, is when you make that much change to a classic literature, and in a vacuum, it's one thing, but I also want to look at it in the context of 20 years prior was that really good, like the 70s Three Musketeers and Four Musketeers that I watched not that long ago.
The that one that changed union law about making movies?
Yeah, like they're like super satirical and real charming and funny. And 2 years ago, 30 years after this one, was another 2-part Three Musketeers, Part 1 D'Artagnan, Part 2 Milady. And those are also on Disney+. It's like a generational thing, and I think there's one in the 50s as well, and I'm sure there was one in the 30s.
Gene Kelly was in the 50s.
Thank you. So, like, I guess what I wanted to talk about is what are the elements of this classic novel that are worth changing so that new generations don't have to sit through 600 pages of France to get a fun story. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So, I'm going to start my response with a non sequitur. Which is, you know how I mentioned the fact that he sexually assaults every woman that he sleeps with in this?
Yeah.
So, to an extent, I'm projecting that on Kitty. I am not projecting it on the Countess de Winter, because even though she consents to sleeping with him in that she thinks it's the Count de Ward, the text itself says that what he did to her is a violation.
Oh, wow.
Because they have the night, and he leaves in the morning before it gets light, and he's like, wow, that was kind of fucked up what I did. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing because I'm not Alexandre Dumas and we don't have 18 hours for this podcast.
Yeah.
But within the text, even the narrator is like, yeah, it's kind of fucked up what he did. He did it in service of a greater good, but what he did was fucked up. So there are moral standards at the time, and our characters do cross them. However, ultimately, the ends justify the means, and because the Countess de Winter is a monster, it's kind of acceptable. It's not that they accept what they do to her, because he does apologize for it when he comes clean, but it's more that because she was already a villain, it's her other crimes kind of outweigh crimes done to her.
Mm-hmm.
So, that said, this is the type of novel that this is considered a chivalrous romance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like what we would consider... It's kind of like the modern day equivalent would be something like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's that kind of swashbuckling adventure where there's like crazy shit happening in the background, but it's ultimately kind of like a love story, and it's people ultimately fighting for good and the right to... They're fighting for justice, essentially. What they see as justice.
Okay. And now we're on some common ground.
Yes.
Because that's what this movie is. It's swashbuckling, action, sword fights, quips, camaraderie, romance, but for modern sensibilities. So we get rid of the sexual assault, we get rid of all the cheating. Everyone has their true love. Some of them are broken, their true love, and reconciliation is their last act. Some, their last act is their first kiss, like D'Artagnan and Constance. And then there's Louis and Anne, and they're rekindling a romance that has been there the whole time, but they're both also like 14, so they don't quite know how to handle it. And fun. Like, fun is a word I would use to describe the movie. And I think it's like the modern version of those same elements that made the book a classic.
Yeah, and there are definitely fun scenes. There are things that I laughed at. But I think another important distinction that we need to make is that this book is very much... I shouldn't say very much. This book is quietly a critique of, in my opinion, both the monarchy and the papal state, specifically that cardinal. I don't know enough about French history. In my review, it's basically critiquing the Archian regime, which I believe is that era, the real-life equivalent of that era of the cardinal, Cardinal Richelieu? I don't know how, I cannot
Tim
say
Curry.
It. Tim Curry. Cardinal Tim Curry.
Notice I never tried to pronounce that name.
So, neither the monarchy nor the cardinal gets off looking good here. Like, they kill an Englishman, which is good because France, but also, like, the way that they kill him is... the way that he is killed is not honorable at all. It's not, like, a fair fight in the field of battle or whatever. It's a fanatic stabbing him in the side. And it's very much, like, showing that the cardinal shouldn't have this kind of power. Like, religion shouldn't have this kind of power. It talks about... there's a significant portion of it that talks about the suffering of the people of La Rochelle, who are French citizens. And because of their unfortunate placement close to the English coast, they're treated as combatants and killed in war because they happen to be located there and the cardinal and the king want to fight England. Neither side comes off looking good. And it's hidden. If I knew more about the history, I feel like I would appreciate those segments more. And it feels like that's kind of the easiest thing to chop out of any modern adaptation, is that kind of critique. Because you don't necessarily hurt any of the fun, charming parts of the novel by removing the quiet commentary on the bottom. It's very Tale of Two Cities.
Yeah. I think the film held on to some of that commentary re the Cardinal. There's a scene where they hijack his... well, they stop D'Artagnan from getting executed, the Three Musketeers, and they hijack the Cardinal's carriage and use it to escape. And as they're escaping, Porthos opens his snack box and finds a chest of gold, and Aramis hands it to D'Artagnan and says, "Go ahead, son, redistribute this wealth. The farmers are hungry." And he tosses it into the street. And where was I going? Oh, yeah, like, and there's a scene when, so basically what I'm saying is that scene is critiquing the hypocrisy and the wealth gain of the church when scriptures say feed the poor. And the other scene that comes to mind is when the cardinal is approaching Anne as she's getting out of the bath, and he ropes her and he tries to get her to do some things for him and is real pervy about it. He mentions, like, he has to make sacrifices for his line of work, but he would do anything to be with her in that moment. And she's like, "Your sacrifices bring you closer to God." And he's like, "I want to be close to you." And it's fucking weird and creepy, and Tim Curry, and he's great. But, like, yeah, that kind of hypocrisy. Like, I certainly don't know any individual church leaders who were sexually deviant while in leadership positions in the church.
What?
Cough, cough.
Especially in the Catholic Church. So, I had a thought and it just disappeared.
That's all right. I had a lot of thoughts about this movie that just disappeared as soon as it ended. We can talk about who made it.
All right, let's do that.
All right. As I said before, it was written by David Lowery. It was directed by Stephen Herrick, who did some big movies. He did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Okay.
He did The Mighty Ducks. He did Mr. Holland's Opus.
Of course.
And then did a little movie called Rockstar, which I think it was was it Matthew McConaughey in that movie? Where he plays a rock star and it's a drama and it's really bad. I think How Did This Get Made covered it.
Wahlberg?
Oh, it was Wahlberg. You're right. It was Marky Mark.
Yes.
He directed that movie and switched to TV. Aramis was played by Charlie Sheen. Yes,
what?
The religious guy, who's also a horn dog, was played
an interesting casting choice.
by Charlie Sheen. You know him from 8 Men Out, that previous episode of the pod. Also Scary Movie 3, and one of my all-time favorite movies, Hot Shots Part 2.
I loved you in Wall Street.
Oh, I love that line so much. Athos was played. Is it Athos or Athos?
The narrator said Athos.
Okay. Athos is played by Kiefer Sutherland, who was in Stand By Me, A Few Good Men, and Phone Booth.
Kiefer Sutherland really just has one of those faces where he has to be the tragic character, huh?
He is so attractive in this movie.
Young Kiefer Sutherland could get it.
Oh, and Twice on Sundays. D'Artagnan was played by Chris O'Donnell. You know him best as Robin in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. But he is in the movie that is the impetus to this podcast. He is in Fried Green Tomatoes.
I, honestly, when I saw him, I was like, is that Stephen Amell? No, this is way too old to be Stephen Amell.
Yeah, no. Porthos is played by Oliver Platt. He was in Flatliners. He was in Indecent Proposal. He was in Bicentennial Man. He's one of those faces. He shows up places, and he makes things better. He's the best part of this movie. Outside of the main characters, we've got Cardinal, who's played by Tim Curry. We talked about him a lot when we did Congo. He's also in Home Alone 2 and Clue. Milady de Winter was played by Rebecca de Mornay, who got famous for Risky Business and The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, which was that yuppie nightmare of what if the nanny's evil.
Ah, yes.
Queen Anne was played by Gabrielle Anwar, who was in Scent of a Woman, and you know her best as Rapunzel in Once Upon a Time Season 7.
Oh, God. I don't think I watched Season 7.
Fuck. That was just for you. And
that was when they recast her.
Wet fart.
She was black first.
Oh, jeez, I didn't even know that. Captain Rochefort was played by Michael Wincott, who was also in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, The Crow, and he was the old cinematographer in Nope, with that great deep voice.
He has the look of someone who would be in a lot of period pieces.
He's awesome.
He has the Chris Sarandon, or oh God, who played the villainous count with 11 fingers?
Oh, Sarandon.
No, Sarandon was
The other guy?
Yeah, Sarandon was the prince.
Fuck.
I can't remember. Christopher Guest.
Thank you.
He has that Christopher Guest look.
Yeah, he really does. But more evil.
Yeah.
Gerard, who I guess isn't in the book, he's a running joke in the movie. He chases D'Artagnan to Paris, and then like 3 times throughout the movie, he shows up and yells at him from like through a crowd in a real high pitched voice, and it's very funny.
I feel like that's a joke about D'Artagnan doing that to Rochefort in the book.
Oh, probably. Because at the end, he's like, he finally gets him in the street, and he's like, now's my time, D'Artagnan, I will avenge my sister's honor. And Aramis is like, the Musketeers also protect each other, and they all draw their swords, and he goes running away again. And haha, very funny stuff. Constance is played by Julie Delpy. She was in 3 Colors White, the Kieslowski. American Werewolf in Paris. And arguably the best sequel ever made, Before Sunset. The whole Before trilogy. And I will take this moment. If you think that movie's not for you, fuck you. Before Sunset is the best sequel ever because it carries so much more weight if you watch Before Sunrise first and you get the full story. On its own, it's a wonderful movie. Paired with its predecessor, it is one of the best movies ever. The emotional landing at the end of that, and it's like 84 minutes long. Beautiful, lovely romance movie. And King Louis XIII was played by Hugh O'Connor, who was in My Left Foot playing a young Daniel Day-Lewis, and Chocolat. You're giving me a look.
I have seen neither of these movies.
Okay. Sam Raimi was considered to direct this.
That would be a very different movie.
It would have been released under the Touchstone banner. There would have been blood.
I mean, if he did what he did with Spider-Man, I think it could have been interesting. I don't think it would have been a bad choice, but
the thing is, like, he wasn't there. This was 10 years before he did Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man was after 10 years of growth. I don't know what a just post Army of Darkness Three Musketeers would have looked like.
Yeah, that's...
You know what I mean?
We definitely would have gotten the Chin. Bruce Campbell would have been in it.
Oh, yeah, Bruce Campbell would have been in it. That car would have been in the background somewhere. He would have done all his shit.
Yeah.
He would have strapped the camera to a sword during a sword fight.
Okay, but that would be really cool.
It would have been really cool. It would have looked clunky as shit in 1993, but that's like the kind of shit he would have tried to do.
Yeah.
Wish it could have happened. I've got a lot of alternate cast here.
Okay.
Charlie Sheen was originally supposed to be Porthos.
Yeah, no, that's correct.
Fair enough. First choice for D'Artagnan, Brendan Fraser.
Ooh. No, I get it. It would have been real good.
Yeah.
He has that earnestness.
He does. Alternates before Chris O'Donnell, Stephen Dorff, and Brad Pitt. Like Legends of the Fall era Brad Pitt.
I get Legends of the Fall era Brad Pitt. But it's probably for the best because I don't think... Okay, So this is my unpopular opinion about Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is not a bad actor, but he's not a great actor. He needs someone to aspire to, and he would not have had that in this movie. It would have been very mid. Yeah. Not saying that the movie's not mid, just that he would have been pigeonholed into that mid style of performance.
I don't think he had quite figured out what made him him yet.
Yeah.
I don't think he was quite there yet. Winona Ryder as Milady de Winter.
Get it again, because that would have been her like villainous run, Heathers, and yeah,
like 5 years after Heathers.
Yeah,
I feel like she might be a touch too young.
Yeah, because that's kind of the thing, is that My Lady de Winter is supposed to be mid-20s, while with like Athos being a little bit older, Porthos and Aramis were supposed to be like also mid-20s but a little younger, and then D'Artagnan was 20 or 20. He was 21 by the end of the novel.
All right, so here's a list of names that were considered for various roles. I think it'll be fun to try and figure out who.
Oh, God, okay.
Billy Baldwin. Exactly. Porthos. Here's a fun one. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, God. The Cardinal, obviously.
I was thinking Rochefort.
Oh, Rochefort, yeah.
Al Pacino.
That's the Cardinal,
That's the
for
Cardinal.
sure.
Yeah,
That's also a completely different movie.
Johnny Depp.
Baby Johnny Depp absolutely would have been D'Artagnan, I think.
For sure. This one I know the answer to. Cary Elwes.
Oh, Athos?
Aramis.
Because he would have still been young.
Because I think he was Aramis before... No. Because it was him, Charlie Sheen, and Kiefer Sutherland actually did media for this movie before Elwes dropped and Platt came in.
Yeah, I think...
So he might have been Athos then. I don't actually know.
Yeah, I think he... In that group, Charlie Sheen and
Kiefer
Oliver
Sutherland.
Platt...
Oh, no, it was Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, Kiefer Sutherland?
So yeah, he would have been Aramis then. Of those two, he would have been Aramis.
Yeah, but that's a miscast. If anyone, he would have been Athos. Because that's basically Wesley.
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr.?
Gerard.
I could have seen him as like an Athos.
Yeah, because that would have been deep in his like problem era, right?
Yeah. And finally, this one's a bit of a trick question. Gary Oldman. He could have been anybody.
He literally could have been anybody. But probably the Cardinal, because that would have been post-Dracula, right? Or around the same time as Dracula. No, Dracula's 99, right?
No, it was like 91 or 92. It was right around then, yeah.
Yeah,
so he probably would have been the Cardinal.
Yeah. Or, again, I could see him as Athos.
Of that list, along with Kiefer Sutherland and Oliver Platt, Johnny Depp, Billy Baldwin, and Robert Downey Jr. were involved in the TriStar one.
Oh, well, TriStar did Freddy, didn't they?
No, you're thinking New Line.
New Line, okay. Wow, I just don't pay attention to studios, apparently.
I wish I couldn't. I wish I could ignore them, but I need to know. One of the things about this film is its look. It has a very specific Disney look. Everything is too well lit. You know what I mean? Like
this was obviously a studio because everything is perfect.
There are studio lights. Even when they're outside, the skies are blue. It's very Southern California clean. Very studio clean. So imagine my shock when I found out that they shot this entirely on location in Austria.
Well, yeah, you never shoot in France. You always shoot in Austria.
The issue was the buildings in Paris that they wanted to shoot in front of had all been blown up by the Nazis.
Oh!
So they were able to find some era-specific buildings in Austria because for some reason Austrian buildings weren't blown up by Nazis.
So, in a weird twist, I have a little bit of trivia about the novel.
Oh?
So, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look here.
Please don't segue into this trivia with speaking of Nazis.
So, they're not technically Nazis, but it's not like a good look. The Israeli spy who infiltrated the Syrian government until he was discovered by Syrian intelligence and executed, used for his communications with Mossad a French language copy of the Three Musketeers.
And that is the end of this segment on the actions of the Israeli government. Genocide is bad. And also, they did, Platt, O'Donnell, and Sutherland did a 6-week fencing and horseback training course to prepare for this movie. Charlie Sheen shot Hot Shots Part 2 instead. So
there's benefits to being a Nepo. No, Kiefer Sutherland's a Nepo baby. What am I talking about?
So all of the fight scenes are like intricate swordplay, intricate swordplay, intricate swordplay, and then Charlie Sheen just like punches or shoots a guy. And then he feels bad about it because he's like religious. He like does the sign of the cross.
I do think Aramis is wounded initially. Porthos gets stabbed real close to the dick, which is a joke. And Athos is never actually like seriously wounded. He's the best duelist besides D'Artagnan.
So, oh my god, I can never remember which one's which. Athos gets stabbed in the bicep during his fight with Rochefort and does the coolest thing ever, where it's like it's his fencing arm, and he stands up and just switches hands with the sword. Like, this arm's not stabbed, motherfucker. Great bit.
I think that happens in the novel, because I think Aramis is like, when they have their meet cute and they agree to duel, Aramis is like, don't think that you're gonna get off easy because I'm injured. I can duel just as well with both hands.
Okay.
There's also when D'Artagnan first shows up to France and goes to the Musketeer Museum, he sees 4 dudes, and it's one guy at the top of the stairs and 3 guys trying to advance up the stairs, and they're dueling. And he's like incredibly impressed by the finesse and panache of the Musketeers.
Yeah. The other big injury is Aramis gets shot in the chest by the cardinal.
Obviously he lives.
It hits his cross. Oh, that's the third critique of religious leaders, I guess.
So, I do have another minor piece of trivia, but this is mostly just trivia for me. Okay. So, in the execution chapter, it begins, "It was a stormy and dark night." I looked it up. Bulwer Lytton did not write "It was a dark and stormy night" until the 1800s. So this may be the first use of that and where he was pulling it from.
Interesting.
I did not do any further research on that, but it would not surprise me if he had read that and it stuck in his head.
I'm pretty sure there's like scripture that's "It was a dark and stormy night when the devil came into the Garden of Eden."
I just personally found that fun because I was that's how you set the tone.
So when Five Iron Frenzy came back from the dead in 2013, Reese Roper didn't come up with "It was a dark and stormy night" himself on their first single in 10 years?
Honey, I hate to tell you this.
You mean the dude who, like, 10 years prior released a song that, like, the opening lyric is just the opening to Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven? Didn't...
I think your fave might just be a goth.
But it's ska.
You can still be a goth and like ska.
Ska isn't sad.
It's sad with trumpets.
No, it's angry with trumpets. Speaking of angry with trumpet, can't fucking talk tonight. I didn't do my vocal warm-ups before we recorded.
You also had several inches of fireball.
I did, because I've had a long day. Speaking of trumpets, Gabrielle Anwar was pregnant during filming.
Oh.
I just think that's neat. Also, Milady is the first Disney suicide.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. That was a 6-second gap that I need to edit back in there.
I was trying to think of another example, but
You can't, because this was the first.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I can't think of any since either. But, yeah, when I said, like, I kind of respect the movie for having cojones, first Disney suicide.
Clayton in Tarzan?
That's not suicide.
He doesn't know.
It's accidental death, I think.
Ah.
Because he cuts himself loose from vines, right?
Yeah, except for one.
Yeah, accidental death.
Okay.
Bong Bong and Inside Out?
Bing bong.
Listen, I've been hitting the bong bong.
Okay, Mark.
Anyway, enough sad character deaths. If you happen to go see this movie in theaters, this is the last bit I have. If you went to go see this in theaters, you would be opened... How do word? If you went to go see this in theaters, prior to the film beginning, you were treated to the first 6 minutes of Disney's next animated motion picture, The Lion King.
You got the Circle of Life?
This opened with the Circle of Life, which you know from experience made me cry the first time I saw it in theaters.
Ugh.
Yeah.
God, what I wouldn't give to go back in 93 and just experience that for the first time.
See that for the first time, and then...
This movie, which, if I may quote Leonard Maltin, conceived frankly as a product, complete with hit-to-be theme song over the closing credits, this adventure film cares less about storytelling than about keeping the Musketeers' feathered hats on straight whenever they go galloping. To be fair, they are very, very conscious of their hats. There's a whole section about how they're poor and can't afford their equipment to go to war.
Fair. But, yeah, if I'm going to jump ahead to that bit, I guess. The movie, I didn't see it till now, but I distinctly remember, for what seemed like years, but when you're 4, everything seems like years, seeing this advertised. I remember it, like, trailer for it on, I think, like, the Little Mermaid VHS.
Probably.
Would have had that. I remember, I'm pretty sure it was Burger King or McDonald's had Three Musketeers toys.
Oh, you touched a vague memory.
Yeah! I remember ads for it, like, the Saturday night movie on ABC this week is Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland in The Three Musketeers. You know,
Fuck Oliver Platt.
Fuck Chris O'Donnell. You only have 15 seconds on those TV spots. You go with Keith and fucking Sheen. It's 1993, bitch. But, like, no, like, that's my lasting memory of this movie, even having watched it twice in the last, like, 36 hours. It's so clean. It's so Disney. It's got that, like, Technicolor sheen on it, where even though they filmed in the Austrian countryside, it looks like they filmed on a backlot in Anaheim. There are fun moments. Oliver Platt is a fucking treat. And Tim Curry is eating every scenery he can find.
Still picking
It's probably why they didn't shoot it on a set. He would have had too much. He would have gotten full. Would have had an upset tummy.
I feel like we could have a whole podcast about why sometimes chewing the scenery works and sometimes it doesn't.
When you're trying to set a tone that isn't serious, it works. Because they're not trying to be an adult movie here. They cut all the sex and violence down to a few, like, sword fight scenes where you never actually see a stab. 90% of the deaths are people falling off of things or throwing themselves off of things. They hint at danger. There's one pretty violent death towards the end. Oh no, but you don't see him die. He's still alive when you leave, so maybe he's not even dead. The guy who gets double spiked.
Yes.
There's no sex, but there's, like, some innuendo for dad. It's very fun, but so forgettable. How about the novel? Fun and forgettable? Is fun not the word you'd use to describe it?
Fun is not the word I would use to describe it. I will admit that I am biased. Please do not take this as me condoning anything the English do. But I would rather read Shakespeare than Dumas. It's not that it's bad, it's not for me. I don't think the 500-page buildup is enough for the 120-page payoff of getting my lady's POV. There's also, like, some pretty era-specific views about women that are expressed. I can take that with a grain of salt. I understand this was written in the late 1600s. And the writing isn't bad. It's just hard to get into when you stop. If you enjoy Victor Hugo, if you enjoy kind of dense jokes, if you know a lot about French history, you will probably enjoy this. I did not have a good time, but that is a me thing. This is one of the books where I'm not going to say the book is bad, it's just not for me. And oh god, it's 600, the version I have is 628 pages long, plus the introduction. Most editions clock in somewhere between 600 and 700 pages. Again, it's not bad, it's not for me.
Yeah. So,
Sorry. Shush.
Even with the book, I want to go back just briefly on the overarching topic of, like, a generational adaptation. And this doesn't have to be specific to Musketeers, but for the purposes of this episode, that was released in the late 1600s, and it's considered a classic. How do we get today's youth to read it? Well, 100 years ago, they released abridged versions.
I will also say that I think something that would have helped this book as it was coming out was that it was serialized.
Oh, yeah, that's important, how it was published.
Yeah, and you can see where the different chunks of the story ended and began again with within that. I didn't do enough research to find out, like, oh, this part was published at this time. But yeah, it was serialized, I believe, over a couple of years. So you would pick up your local newspaper and it would have the next installment of the Three Musketeers. So when you're only reading 15, 20, maybe even 50 pages at a time, you're not gonna get overwhelmed by getting a fucking brick of a book.
Yeah, and I think that's something that was kind of lost when we were kids, because a lot of A Tale of Two Cities was serialized. A lot of classic novels that were forced to read in high school were originally serialized on release.
Jane Austen.
Yeah, and we were, as youths, we only knew them as novels that were really long and kind of boring to get through.
The way that you modernize this and make kids interested in it.
Well, we're getting to that. Because what they did, 100 years ago, they would release abridged versions. And they would cut chunks out of it. You mentioned that earlier where they cut all the sex and it made no sense. I did a quick Goog. There's illustrated versions of the book. And then they've been filming it for 100 years now. And you have the more serious adaptations. And you have the Disney-fied adaptation that we're talking about today. And you mentioning that it was serialized to begin with makes me wonder, should this not be a film at all? Should this be a TV show?
I think in the era of Game of Thrones, Vikings, that kind of serialized, quasi-historical show, absolutely. You could definitely make prestige TV out of this. Make it, 3 seasons. Each season is a year. Or maybe 4 or 5 seasons and break it down into the different events. My suggestion, because one of the big problems is that when there are fights, it's a lot faster to depict a fight on screen than it is to read one. Graphic novel.
Yeah?
Turn it into a graphic novel, break it up into, even release it like a fucking manga. And make it, 12 books. That I think is another way to get people interested in the actual words. But I do also like the idea of a TV show.
So I did a Goog.
Uh-huh.
They did.
Ah.
From 2014 to 2016 on the BBC, 30 episodes called The Musketeers.
Okay.
But I also saw one that looked, a South Korean TV series where it's localized for Korean history.
Oh, that's probably interesting.
That is interesting. That's the kind of shit we do on The Treatment, a podcast about stories, which you can find wherever you get your podcast, including this very feed if you're on YouTube, or channel if you're on YouTube. Sorry. But I think a modern American prestige TV could do something very interesting with it.
Yeah, just don't give it to D&D.
Give it to Taika Waititi.
He did fun.
Our Flag Means Death.
That tone would be great. Our Flag Means Death tone would be excellent for this.
Because I think that's something that is lost when you know it as a boring novel, is that it's very fun. There are very fun things to be done within this world, within this story, with these characters.
Yeah.
And that's something that Disney did very well.
Up until the last, 100 pages or so, when people start to die, it is very comedy. It's very comic, because it's these poor friends trying to make enough money to scrape together and keep living in the style to which they are accustomed. And the ways that they get into their own way about it.
Yeah.
When they're trying to get their equipment to be prepared to go to the war because they've been called up, Athos straight up says, I'm not leaving my fucking house. My equipment's coming to me. And he doesn't leave his house for 3 months. There are things that are very funny.
Yeah. I got nothing more to say. Just I got one last thing to say. I remember all the advertising about this when I was a kid. I didn't care. I was never into swords and shit. As an adult, I understand the appeal more than I did as a kid. Am I going to revisit this? Probably not. If, say, Edgar Wright drops an adaptation of it, yeah, I'm going to see that. I'm interested in the story and the setting and the characters. Just not that interpretation.
That's fair. I'm interested... I say this with a grain of salt. I am interested in The Count of Monte Cristo now.
Okay.
Another Dumas that's been adapted a million times.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested to see that kind of revenge plot from the good guys as opposed to the revenge plot from the villain of the novel. Yeah. I think that would be fun.
So, in the short list to be on the spinning circle of stories on The Treatment is The Count of Monte Cristo.
Which I actually...
So,
all I know is that it's a revenge story. I've never read it. I'm not familiar with the story at all.
Guess whose pick that is?
Is it our weird francophone friend and
Yes.
third host?
Sure is.
Love you.
Love you, Mark.
So, you know how we have been kind of doing loose threads?
Yeah, loose ties.
I have a suggestion.
Thank God, because I have nothing.
I think you're going to like this one. So this is a chivalrous romance, right?
Yeah.
It kind of has ties to Arthurian legend. Those are kind of the courtly romances.
Yeah.
So there was a real good Arthurian legend movie that came out a couple of years ago.
Is it that one that Ridley Scott did, I think?
I actually don't know who the director is. Is it Ridley Scott?
King Arthur.
Oh no,
There was the Fuqua one.
I'm not talking about King Arthur.
There was one like... Oh, Guy Ritchie. It was Guy Ritchie in 2017.
Yes, that was the Taron Egerton. That was like atrocious. On the heels of Kingsman. Kingsman. No, I'm not talking about straight King Arthur.
Gay King Arthur?
I'm talking about The Green Knight.
Fuck yes.
Did you know The Green Knight is based on Sir Gawain and the Green Knight? A poem. An epic poem.
Ah, so you gave yourself a couple stanzas to read.
It is 100 pages.
Okay, a couple dozen stanzas to read.
But also, I just read 628 plus pages.
Fair enough.
And The Green Knight is fucking awesome.
At the very least, I can get stoned and enjoy the visuals. Fucking love that movie. Let's fucking go.
So, next up is gonna be Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, The Green Knight.
Fantastic.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I love you, dear.
I love you too.
And bye-bye.
So cute. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, until next time when we're covering The Green Knight, you can find us on our social medias in the link tree in the description of this podcast. In that same place, you can find our email address if you want to send us suggestions, notes, comments, complaints, corrections to the stupid things we said. Tell us how handsome we are.
Correct my French history. Do it.
She won't read it. Also in that link tree is our Ko-Fi account, or Coffee. I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced, but if you want to help support the show, help us pay our podcasting host fees, that link is there for you as well. Feel no pressure, but please. And,
I think it's about time for you to go refill your several inches of Fireball.
I think it's about time for you to shut up. I'll tell you when I've had enough Fireball. I've probably had enough Fireball.